welcome to That's Dope, the podcast where we talk about stuff that's dope. I am your high-voiced host, Justin V.
I'm your baritone bro host, Godswill.
And today we have a very special episode. I guess every episode is a very special episode. That's when I mess up.
I don't feel like this is a very special episode, but like it's a good episode.
It's a good episode. Yeah. It's not our favorite kid, but it's a kid, so we love them anyways. I guess is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like the third kid out of 6. Like, who gives a shit about that guy, really? Let's be honest. But today we're going to have an episode where we basically recap the first half of the year. I mean, looking at it, a little over half of this year has gone by, and a lot has happened, both from a media standpoint and I guess a personal standpoint as well as a podcast standpoint. So why don't we just cover, I guess, some of the changes that have happened from a media standpoint?
Okay.
Things like what's maybe like a piece of music that you've discovered in this year, a video game that maybe came out this year or you discovered this year, and a movie under those same lines.
Yeah, sounds like a good thing. I mean, we always talk about so much else, and I feel like it would be bad to neglect those aspects, that we also love, but we don't get a chance to talk about as often. So I guess starting with music, I want to talk about 2 albums if that's cool.
Go for it. I got one.
All right, cool. So 2 albums that I've discovered. The first one is by this Australian group of kids. Actually, they just got into college right now. They were high school seniors when they dropped out. When they dropped this,
I was about to say they can't get into college.
No. When they dropped this album, the group is called Cactus Channel, and they're like this jazz group that plays really, really good music. I was a little surprised to hear how good. It sounded like honestly like they were from the '60s because it's just so funky, and I feel like more people need to hear about this. At least more people in my circles of dancers. Because they're always looking for good dance music, good to dance to, and this is good funky music. It makes me think of Cowboy Bebop, honestly.
Oh, that's a good thing to be compared to. I love Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, whereas honestly, it feels like funky is okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam, let's get all this stuff right, and pretty much, and it's I feel like I'm doing something cool whenever I listen to this music, honestly. I feel like I'm also a mobster too when I listen to this music, but it's just great dance music. It's very upbeat. Music. It feels like these people have been doing it for years, and maybe they have, but honestly, they feel like they have a lot more years with what they've been playing. My favorite song. So the album is called Haptics, Haptics, and I don't know what that means, but I really like first of all, I like the album art. It's just a bunch of hands. They're different colors. They're just like this, and it's in this sort of old style, Pablo Picasso. That's what I think of, honestly. And then my favorite song is this song called Emanuele Ciccolini. I don't know. I actually need research who maybe that is, because that's a funky song right there. It's like the theme song. If I had a movie or whatever, this would be the theme song for this song. For this album, I guess. Great album. I wish there was more I could say, but honestly, you just have to hear it. I listened to a lot of it on Spotify, so definitely I think we'll have to put some songs up, right?
Yeah, man, go ahead. Spotify, link all of this stuff up in the description.
Cool. Yeah, sure thing. I guess you talk about your song, your next album, then I'll talk about my second one.
All right, yeah. I only have one album, and the way I found this album is kind of weird, actually. My friend Jen played Journey for the first time. And she and Walter, who is one of the editors on the podcast, they found this article that explains why, I guess, Journey makes people cry. And the author in that article made a reference to this album that came out. And when it came out, he mentioned that reviewers would say that they listened to it and they just wept openly, but they wouldn't exactly know what it was about that album that made them cry. And I was like, what is this? What is this? What are they talking about? There's no way this is going to make me throw it on at work. Big mistake. I'm just I wasn't sobbing to the point where anybody at work was yeah, man, you okay? But it was just one of those things where it's just I got hit by the Feels train. I got Falcon punched by the Feels train, straight up. I was just I don't know why. And it was so poignant. I didn't know why it made me feel the way that I did. But for some reason, it's just like I listen to it and it's like a mix of like sadness and happiness, and it's just like a very overwhelming album, and it has such a simple sound. The album is called Untitled by Sigur Rós, and I hope that I pronounced that right.
I mean, hey, better
It's
than what I would have done.
it's an Icelandic band, or it's either from Ireland or Iceland. I can't remember. But they just make such strange music. I don't know how exactly to describe it. Maybe like ambient experimental rock, I guess. This might be the best way to possibly describe it, but it's just such strange music. Every track on that album is untitled, but there's like special sound, I guess, like words that are in their native tongue that they refer to each track by. So I can't really say my favorite track is this, because it's just like all kind of flows together. But I think my favorite track, if I had to say, was track number 3, like the third untitled track, is my favorite. Like, I don't know what it is about that song, but it just gets me in the feels.
Oh wow.
It's one of those things where it's just like, it's like I sent it to my coworker and I was like, listen to this song, try not to cry a lot. But yeah, it's really good. And this album, I think it came out, it was either in, I can't remember the exact year it came out, but it was a while back. It's been over a decade since this song, since this album has come out. But it was just really good, and I'm surprised it took me so long to find it.
I mean, how would you otherwise find it? I mean, it's like I wouldn't expect you to find it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, it was just such good music, and it kind of just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where it's like I mean, I've seen that name, that band name, just floating around.
Have you?
Yeah, I have, just randomly just floating around, but I never really gave much thought into it, and this was like the slap in the face that I guess I needed. So I'm just now in the process of diving deep into it. I'm not sure if it's something that I'd want to geek out about entirely like I do about Daft Punk, but from that one album, man, it just kind of leaves you just breathless, and you don't really know why.
That makes sense. And hey, definitely, I remember you sent it to me, but I hadn't got a chance to look at it. But I'm gonna do that as soon as I can. I guess before I get into my second one, I do want to say I've been listening to a lot of Biggie Smalls lately. Like,
I don't blame you.
Just ready to die constantly, and it's just I don't know. I just really like before Tupac was my favorite out of the two, but now Biggie Smalls is just taking it, especially with the Rat Tat remix of Party and Bullshit.
Party so goes so hard. I love that remix. I'm so glad he showed it to me because they played it at the end of an episode of Silicon Valley, and I was like,
oh yeah,
man, this goes hard. Like, I don't know what this is, but it's like bow now, bow now, and I was like, oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
And I've been listening to a lot of Rat Tat, but that's not the one I wanted to talk about. If I was going to talk about another album, I was going to talk about. Well, did I ever talk about Aloe Black? The Man?
I don't think you did.
Okay, cool. Because I felt like I had talked about him, but no. Okay.
I think you geeked out about that so much to us that you thought that you talked about it in podcast
okay,
form.
Cool.
But
okay, cool. Because I had like another album. I was like, oh, I already talked about that.
But Godzilla, coming prepared.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just like,
this was your idea.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't know. I forgot like if I've ever talked about that.
No, I'm giving you a hard time.
Okay, cool. Okay. Anyways, I love the album from Aloe Black, Lift Your Spirit, yeah. And like the main song is The Man. I didn't even know this was on radio because I don't listen to radio anymore. But the way I found out about it was I was gonna go interview for a job. I remember March 28th. My current job at my cashier spot, and I turn on TV because I was waking up. I was like, oh, I woke up early. Might as well go check out what's playing on music videos, because I'll never get a chance to see music videos. And this song comes on. I'm the man. And it's just like, I'm just like, this song is weird. Like, I don't get it. And then I just kept watching it. And the music video was awesome because it was like black heroes that were just the man. And I was just like, yeah, these guys are cool. And I was like, yeah, I want to be the man. And then immediately I got that song. Like, I just had to get that song on my phone. I just downloaded the music video, and I just kept playing it and playing. I played it 4 times before I got to to the venue, and I went to the interview, killed it. Like he was like, you gotta work here for us. You free tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, because like I told him I'd be like I'm free Fridays, Saturdays, and Tuesdays, and then the next day was Saturday, and he's like, you free tomorrow? I was like, yeah. He's like, we like you. You gotta come in.
I
was
just want to see how the interview went. It's like, so tell me about your greatest strength.
I'm
I'm
the
the man. I'm the man.
like, I like this guy.
Do you think you're qualified for the position? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Probably went like that. I don't remember how. Like we just talked, like me and my boss, and he was like, I like this guy. I like you. You come on in tomorrow. And it was sort of funny. I was just sort of wondering, because one of my friends just interviewed with the same boss, and I don't know. I don't think things worked out. It was just like, what happened? Like I'm just sort of like playing
you
back in
to
my.
that song 4 times in a row.
I think so. And then after that, like I played a song like twice more, and I showed my friend Ka, our friend Ka. Yeah, I don't know why I said my friend. I don't know. Anyways, I showed Ka, and he was like, I don't like the song. I was like, what? You're crazy. This song is the tits. And and then after that, I went to Spotify. And I was just like, let me check this album out. And I went to Spotify, looked at the whole album, 10 songs, loved almost all of them. I don't know if there was a song I didn't like. I think there was one song I was just like, this meh. But otherwise, the whole thing, I was just like, oh, this is so cool, you know. I just like the whole thing. Like, it's sort of simplistic. I mean, usually I guess I'm listening to like complex, conscious stuff that's like, yeah, and the war in Palestine and Israel, and yeah, think about global warming, and you know,
How much Moral Technique have you been listening to lately,
Lord.
dude?
Yeah, just I don't know. I'm just always listening to sort of complex stuff, I guess, or stuff that doesn't have any of that. But this was pretty simplistic, I guess, comparatively. You know, stuff that can go on the radio, and I like it a lot. You know, like it's just been going so well with me, and like this Aloe Blacc stuff, like I'm looking through his whole discography now, although it's not that long, you know. He only had like an album more, but this album, Lift Your Spirit, has been like one of my favorites. I listen to it all the time, and then also I will listen to Wake Me Up. Everyone knows that Avicii remix. I guess this was the original. I don't even know.
It's like Avicii has his version, and then the version on his album is the acoustic version.
Okay, yeah, because I saw acoustic version, like that's what it is on the album, and it just
honestly, I mean, I prefer the acoustic to the Avicii version.
Me too, actually. Like the acoustic just has so much more meaning.
It has like this folkish kind of feel to it, almost, you know, and it just makes me happy.
Yeah,
you know.
I feel like also like it fits for me and you. You know, like what we were sort of talking about with Bro Talk. Like how we sort of feel almost a little lost, you know, like in this post-grad life. And it's like, yeah, that's how I feel. And it's like, wake me up when everything is better, honestly, you know. But, we just got to go through life. I just like the way that he sings, and like it just really has touched me. So it's like I have this one hype album, but I also have this sort of more introspective album too. You know, I was going to talk about Bonobo again because I've just been listening to him nonstop in Hypnotic Brass, but I can't talk about them because I already geeked out so much about them before. And again, then the other, I do want to just give out a shout out. Like the other album I was going to talk about was The Abstract and the Dragon, which is the Busta Rhymes and Q-Tip album that they did, where they remixed songs that they did before in the past.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and at first I didn't like it, but then I listened to it and it just yeah, I didn't. Like I was just like,
it doesn't make sense. It's like at first when I listened to it, I didn't like it, but then I listened to it,
yeah,
and it was dope.
Like I had to listen to it because like at first it was just sort of mellowed songs, like it sounded like more mellow songs of the Anthology and also the Low End Theory of A Tribe Called Quest. And I was just like, I'm not really feeling it. But then like I listened to the lyrics, and then I turned it up, you know, like in the car, and then I heard the bass, and I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty hype, you know. Like I feel a little bit more crunk listening to this. And they even like have a few songs with other artists. Like they have this one song with Lil Wayne, and like that song goes in. They have 2 Scenario remixes, and those songs just get me pumped up. Busta Rhymes goes off on this. Q-Tip goes off on this. It's good stuff. But, you know, if I had to choose which one I liked more, it would be the Lift Your Spirit one with Aloe Blacc.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's music. What about movies?
Okay.
What's a film that you saw from, like, this first set of months that you thought was pretty poignant?
Poignant film that I saw. Because I've seen so many films and it's sort of hard to choose, honestly.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Like recently I saw Animal House. And
You saw Animal House for the first
yeah,
time?
for the first time. I wouldn't say that that's the poignant film that like I would choose.
Toga.
Although
Toga.
Belushi is just awesome. I was like, I want to be more like
Pluto.
it. Yeah.
0.0.
Just a face.
The face, yeah.
Oh
so
man,
good.
right? No, honestly, like I really liked like how goofballs, how goofy those guys were, and I guess like how much they enjoyed life. And it's just like, yeah, I want to be sort of like that, not like that, like whereas like they just screw ups and they're just like, yeah, let's get drunk and
You don't want
high.
to be on double secret probation?
Hell no. Sounds like the worst thing ever, you know? I mean, shoot. Like, these guys hate you as much as they hate the blacks. I mean, crap. So, you know, but it did teach me also, I guess, being able to accept people. But, shoot, I feel like I had like a more poignant film in mind, but then all I can think about is Toga now.
Dude, Animal House is plenty poignant, man. I mean, it's something old, but like, especially being in Greek life.
Yeah, true, but
You had that expression where it's just like you're trying to take a shit and you like can't.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, no,
you're
don't get
just
me
trying
wrong.
to
It's
get
like
something out, like.
I liked it, but it was more like mindless fun. It wasn't really like I learned something, you know.
Yeah,
It's
but
like I learned like don't be a dumbass. Yeah, it's just like okay,
But it's like iconic mindless fun, you know?
true.
What I mean?
I mean, true, but it's not like for me. It was more like you know, like how we say like fully. You've seen Fully Clue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like everyone says like you need to watch that, but would you say that's like one of the greatest things you've seen?
A lot of people would, but for me,
Yeah.
personally, no.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt about this. It was like I enjoyed it, and it's like I'm glad I've seen it, but like I don't even say this is like the thing that like I'm really glad I've seen, you know. And then also recently, like I was talking with Justin about this, the 17-minute promo of Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that would be the movie that I was like, oh my god, this is the movie I gotta see. But
You're the only person I know that went into a 17-minute promo expecting a film and be like,
I'll show you the ticket thing, but the ticket didn't say anything about, you know, this would be a 17-minute thing. They
was
said
the word promo on the ticket at all?
they said okay, like this is exactly what it says. It says Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and then in parentheses underneath the title, featuring 17 minutes of exclusive. I gotta pull this up. like,
I just asked you for a movie from this year, bro.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, what's your movie?
I mean, like, the one that I was going to talk about was How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Okay,
I mean,
like,
do you want to talk about How to
no.
Train Your Dragon 2? Because we both just talked about... Do you want to just talk about How to Train Your Dragon 2?
Okay, how about
Let's
that?
just talk about How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Okay, although it's like I feel like that wasn't like the movie. But
I
like,
know, but like for me, I mean, like I figured you talked about How to Train Your Dragon 2, and I talk
Mm.
about X-Men.
Did I ever talk about what was that?
Maybe we should just not do movies. We should do like music and games.
Okay. Oh, you want? Let's talk about How to Train Your Dragon 2.
All right.
Okay, cool.
So Godswill, was there like a movie that you've seen maybe this year that you just really want to talk about?
okay, so like yeah, if like I had to choose one that I've seen so far, it'd probably be How to Train Your Dragon 2,
Mm-hmm.
because that movie was really good. Actually, I wasn't expecting like sequels. You know, everyone knows sequels usually aren't that great, but this one I felt really developed the movies that like even much more so. You know, even though I wouldn't say it was better than the first movie. That first movie was amazing.
Oh, so good.
But this movie, I felt stood toe to toe with it, and it was grittier in some ways. It was a lot darker than I thought it would be, but still, pretty much a kids movie that was very enjoyable. I really liked it. What can I talk about with it? I feel like I'm gonna say some spoiler stuff, but what can I say about it actually?
I mean, I can gush for a little bit.
Yeah, good gush. Because like I'm trying to see like how can I be spoiler free without.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of really good dynamics that were explored, like concepts like loss and like family dynamics.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I guess like really trying to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
Like finding your path.
Mhm.
Like figuring out.
I think that's really poignant,
Yeah.
especially like as what I just said before. Like post grad, who are we still?
Definitely, and
Mhm.
it's like, I like the fact that it highlighted two sides of a coin, and almost as if they were like two parts of someone that was threatening to almost rip someone apart, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
You know, especially with the character of Hiccup, who, by the way, long-bottomed hardcore. Everyone in the movie pretty much long-bottomed. You know, for those of you who don't know, like long-bottomed for me, like, you know, like Neville Longbottom in like the first Harry Potter film, how he was a derpy-looking kid, but then the seventh Harry Potter film, you're like, holy shit, he looks pretty good. He looks like a good dude. This dude pulls. Like, that's what I mean by long-bottomed.
Yeah. Like
you know what I mean?
I would say like he's not book 7 long bottom yet. Like I would say maybe like 5, 6. You know, like he's. I feel like
He's taking Ginny to
he's
his
on his
dance,
way.
all right? He's
Yeah.
doing well.
Exactly. That's what I think. Because like yeah, he's doing a lot better, but he's not yet there. But then again, there were some things that he did that I was like, yeah, this guy, like there you go, he finally
Boss mode.
right, exactly. And I feel like he and then also Toothless like leveled up. You know, but that was so cool. You know, like I feel like they both evolved.
They did.
And it was just so cool to see that, like, in a geeky way. It's like, oh my god, that was so cool what they just did, but also like in that emotional way. It's like, yeah, there you go, growing up, yeah, you know, like,
and this definitely had some really emotional scenes to it. Some of them kind of feel like they might have just been like injected in there, but at the same time, like,
I feel like some of them also like went by too quickly. You know,
Yeah.
like they didn't like spend enough time on that. But
yeah, but overall, like, it was a really solid film for me. I'm gonna be on the camp that says that it's not as good as the first one. Honestly, I looked at this film and I really wanted it to be the Toy Story 3 of sequels, but it was the Toy Story 2 of sequels.
okay, yeah, I
If
get
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, like actually, like I would have to agree with you where it wasn't as like what I said, it wasn't as good, but I would say like it's in like the general range. Whereas like you know
Definitely.
the first one was like a good like A minus or whatever. This is like B plus or something, right?
But it's almost like the Raid 2 in the sense that, like, it develops the universe, but kind of sacrificed developing, like, the characters.
True. That's very true. That's very true. I feel like we didn't get enough time with the characters.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there are certain dynamics that are really, 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 really well developed, but
Developed.
I cannot speak at all. But in the end, I just enjoyed, I guess, the more focused narrative of the first film a lot more.
Mhm.
And also, like, the villain was laughable in this one. Like, I laughed so hard at him.
Yeah.
Like he was a little. He was,
I was like, you serious? Like,
I was hoping. Yeah, he like towards the end, like it's like he was like really like.
Sort of fearsome. Like to me, he was pretty fearsome in the beginning, and then I guess seeing his technique or whatever.
yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, that's a little weird, but whatever.
I mean, like, there's, like, when he, like, dominates a dragon, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this dude's scary. But, like,
yeah, the way he does it.
the way he does everything other than that, I was just like, bro, really?
Yeah, I thought so too. So yeah, that's that. Do you want to talk about any particular movies yourself, or?
I mean, How to Train Your Dragon was dope. Of course, you got to talk about X-Men. I know you haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to just give you the brief overview. Basically, like, they, like, unfucked the X-Men series, which is awesome. Somehow in one movie, they, like, unfucked everything and made it so that there's, like, a new wave of movies that can happen. And overall, it was just, like, really good, like, really fun to watch. You know, there's a lot of parallel universe things, which I liked a lot. You know, like, timelines. It had a lot of timeline things, which, you know, I'm a sucker for timelines.
Oh yeah, I
Ellen
know.
Page, like, her role basically in that film was so minimal, but it was still
I
good
didn't
to
even
see
know she
her.
was in the movie.
Yeah, she returns as Kitty Pryde.
Oh sweet. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's really cool how, like, they had, like, the old cast and the new cast together in, like, one film. Like, that was so awesome to watch, and it was cool to see certain decisions be made. Like, it's not like they went back in time and they, like, fixed everything. Like, they changed and they messed up certain things, which will have impacts to the point where the universe that they come out of now is different from the one where they first went through, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. I love the concept of time travel, and I love the concept of, like, changing certain things will have drastic consequences later on, like a butterfly effect type deal. And so I just want to really see what they do with this new universe. It's like somehow they were able to develop the entire world and create a clean slate at the same time, and that's just incredible writing to me.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, and it
Awesome.
gives you lots of feels, and it's intense, And yeah, I recommend everybody going to go see it because it is like the second best X-Men movie. It's not X2 level.
Yeah, I've heard the X2 was
Because
still the best.
Let's be real, X2 goes in, man.
Honestly,
Like
I don't remember any of the X-Men movies. The only one I remember was like the first Wolverine.
that's the worst one to remember.
And also X3.
Good Lord, man.
I know. I was like, dang, I really need to go watch it.
You really do. Like
Yeah.
X2, like the first scene in X2, like you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh my god, like you'll do that. You'll do the like the thing where you're just like
Yeah.
like that will happen.
Okay.
It's good. It's
Okay.
dope. It's dope.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay, I guess that's one movie each. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So what about video games?
For me, I finally just got back into video games, and one of the biggest things that just happened, I finally beat Ocarina of Time for the first
Hell
time.
yeah, dude! I'm getting you a fist bump.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, finally for the first time, beat that game. Took a long time, just because I don't know. It's just such an investment for me. It's like it's so hard to go back, to play old school games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's like a real investment in time. And finally, thank God, summer, so I have more time to do it. Finally beat the Water Temple. It wasn't too bad as I thought it would be. I mean, it was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was hard. But actually, I did have to use a guide. But that's because like something wasn't working. Like I went to the right spot, but it just wasn't working. Whatever. But otherwise, this is really enjoyable. Honestly, I can see why this is like everyone's favorite game. But unfortunately, I missed that train. I played weird games, I guess, growing up as a kid, or didn't play the real games that everyone needed to play. And honestly, the ending, that was, even though it was sad, it didn't make me too sad. It was like, hey,
There's hope.
yeah, exactly. There's hope. Like he's there. I was like, I'm not sure what I can say about it.
Don't say too much.
Yeah, exactly. So like, the ending was good, and I liked it. I liked the final boss.
Ooh,
that was
so hype.
that was really neat. And also I guess just sort of looking at myself, like how far I've come. All my hearts, all my tunics, all my weapons. Just all those things that like I worked hard for, and just seeing how I can use them against the enemies. That was, I think that was the most poignant part for me, actually. Where it's like I've come so far, and here I'm finally finished with this game. Woo! So I guess that's my game, and then also did I do another game? Oh, I finally beat Demon Souls too.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dude.
like so 2 hard games out. Like Demon Souls was incredibly tough, and I remember just being miserable for half the game. Like it was great, but like it was just miserable because it was so hard, and then you would die, and it was so hard to get back to the point like where like you needed to go. But I remember like it all changed like when I got this one shield, like in the halfway point, called the Adjudicator Shield, where like it regenerates you, and I just remember just feeling like waves of relief. It's like I don't have to. I can finally. I don't have to keep on buying potions because potions were expensive. Like it's grass, it's called grass, and like never being able to find enough, and then just like, what am I gonna do? Do I eat this grass or do I just go in? And then you eat the grass and they kill you, and it's like, what do I do now? What do I do now? I didn't. And it's just like just being miserable. But then after I've got this shield, that was the point where I was like, I can do this. And even then, like it was still a tough, intense game where it's like I'm still just dying constantly. And I remember the final boss just still killing me. And I remember my friend like Ka and then my friend Sam, they kept watching and they're just like, yo, you want me to do this? And I was like, no, I can do this. And this is also when I started doing the fast. And I was just like, oh my God, everyone shut up. Like, just getting irritable because it was like the first few days of the fast. And I was just like, oh, like, Lord, what the heck? But when I finally beat the game, I was just like, yes, finally, another thing I can cross off my list. It was a great game, really hard. So, don't play it unless you're a sadist. I'm a sadist. Might even try to platinum it in the future. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But those are my games.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Ocarina of Time because I actually beat Majora's Mask for the first time this
When'd
year.
you do that?
I mean,
I did it. Was that like a long time ago?
No,
Yeah.
I beat Ocarina of the Time. Can't even speak. I beat Ocarina of Time for
Ocarina
the
of
first time in just before I moved here.
Okay.
With my roommate Sam, we had been playing.
I remember
on and
that.
off.
I remember that.
Yeah, we were playing on and off for almost 2 years.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that's the hard thing about that game. It's like, it's not a game that you pause, you like play for a little bit,
Exactly.
then wait 3 months and play a little bit more. Else you'll forget everything. So like the
Mhm.
last boss, like the second to last boss, I was like, what do I do?
Mhm.
I don't understand. And you're like, oh, okay. Want to reflect that right back. Wow.
Yeah, right.
But that was great. And then I played Majora's Mask, and like, it's such a different game from Ocarina of Time. I'll do that right now. It's like such a different game, and you'll play it at first, and seriously, like I'll never forget. Like one of the times I was playing, pretty early into the game, I played for an hour and lost 3 hours worth of progress. It's
What?
it's because of how they do the system.
Uh-huh.
Is like you have 3 days until like the moon like destroys the world that you're in, right? And if the moon destroys the world that you're in, then like you'll just start from the beginning, like the beginning of the first day. So it's just like I had saved at like the third. I had hit a save point at the third day, and then like I was facing like the first boss, and before I could kill him, the moon like destroyed the world. And so I had to start all over again. I was like, "Man." But then I was like, man, fuck this game. This is bullshit. I was so pissed. But then you start paying attention and you pick up on the little things. You're like, wait a minute. I already know this. I don't need to do this again. I can just cut through half of this stuff already. And the game is built beautifully and so brilliantly to the point where once you pick up on that kind of stuff, once you start learning like all the mechanics and all the little aspects of it, you're like, oh, this is a cakewalk. No problem. It's not an easy game by any means. Believe me, it's not easy. But like, it's like, wow, look, I feel so smart. I just figured out that you can skip this by doing this, and that was amazing. And honestly, it's like with Ocarina of Time, it's like one of those games where you play it and right off the bat you're like, all right, this is great. But Majora's Mask is not that game. It'll take you time to get into it, but once you're into it, you're like really into it. I don't know if I like it more than Ocarina of Time, but it's like I like them both for different reasons, and they're both really high up on my list. Honestly, they're just such brilliant games. The final fight is so intense and so epic. It's not as epic, obviously, as like the first fight because it's not Ganon's not the villain this time, but it's still like intense and it's epic. And overall, like thematically, it's just so dark and so creepy and so weird.
Yeah, I've seen that moon before. It was
Yeah,
just
the
like,
moon is
do I
like-
want to play it? I remember I remember seeing the game, like I played it like a demo disc, like when I was on GameCube or something like that, and I tried it. I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. This is weird.
It's a creepy game. And
Yeah.
man, it's just terrifying. Like the Happy Mask salesman looking at you so creepy.
Uh,
Oh god, it's terrifying. But honestly, like I recommend everyone stick with this game because it's incredible.
Okay,
That's-
one day I'll
yeah.
try it.
That's my old game, but the real game that I wanted to focus on, just because we need a modern game, is this game that came out by Supergiant Games. Supergiant Games is best known for this game called Bastion, which I geeked out about earlier on an earlier podcast.
Way back in the day.
Way back, well, not too far back.
I mean, way
Maybe
back
like
comparatively.
Yeah, I guess relatively speaking. But for those of you who don't know already, Bastion is one of my favorite games and without a doubt my favorite indie game. Like it's just so good. It's so good. And the art is incredible and the combat is just like really fun and stuff and it's just story. The story is phenomenal. Well, Supergiant recently released a game called Transistor, which I've been stupid hyped for. Like stupid hyped for, like it came out and I remember like going home right after work and just like playing Transistor for a long time.
Yeah, I remember.
Just going home, play Transistor, go home, play Transistor. Like that's what I would
Justin,
do.
where are you?
Justin, we have recording to do. Nope, I gotta do Transistor. Justin, you gotta do the. No, I have to finish this game. Like I had to finish the game, and it's not a particularly long game, which is why like I could do that. It wouldn't be like a huge deal. It's just one of those games where it just kind of sucks you in, and it's just like I need to kind of keep going. The plot behind it is you follow this character named Red who lives in this city called Cloudbank. Which is,
No.
she's a girl. Well, Red lives in a city called Cloudbank, which is like this futuristic. The whole game has like this steampunk futuristic feel to it, but it's like a futuristic city where one by one, like the city's most influential voices are just kind of vanishing. No one really knows what happened to all these influential people. And you follow Red, who the game starts, and she's like pulling a sword out of someone who's like lying against like a grate, like out of someone's chest, and it's revealed that like she's a singer, and this group called the Camerata, who are almost like mafioso-esque, kind of like straight up stole her voice. I made it so that she couldn't sing anymore, and now Red is like with this sword, which actually has like this weird like property to it where it's like a talking computer almost. And they're essentially investigating like the city and all of the disappearances and stuff, and finding and hunting down like the Camerata, trying to take back the city from this thing called the Process, which is like the set of machines which is slowly consuming the city as a whole. It sounds weird and convoluted, I know.
I was like,
but
what?
it's just like one of those things where it's just like you go deeper and deeper, and unlike Bastion, which I guess is more like an open world RPG, this is like a mystery. Like this is like hardcore mystery. Like you're trying to figure out like what happened to all these people, and it's like part mystery, but also almost like Age of Empires-esque turn-based, like weird strategy type things.
Really?
Like it's
That
I
was
can't
funny if it
I can't
was.
explain. Yeah, I can't explain the combat system exactly, but it's just a merger of almost like Age of Empires and Final Fantasy, if I had to like really explain it. And then I guess standard combat as well. Like it's really cool, and there's like all these different ways you can set up your character, and all these different ways you can build and mix and merge different types of attacks that you get so that they have different properties. And it's like the combat in this game is phenomenal. Like the combat in this game is better than the combat in Bastion, but overall I still prefer Bastion for the story elements, especially I guess the characterizations and whatnot. But even though Transistor isn't as good as Bastion, it's an incredibly emotional game, especially at the end, and it's just really intriguing and really fun to play. It doesn't have quite the same replay value that Bastion has, but I definitely recommend everyone getting it. Also, the soundtrack, really great. Not Bastion great, but still really great.
Okay,
I really like Bastion, but
Okay.
Transistor, it's hype.
cool.
So if you got a PS4 or PC, get on that, because it's good times. And it's
Cool.
beautiful. Like, seriously, it's beautiful. I feel like there's two types of people in the world: those who say that video games are art, and people who haven't played Transistor yet, because it's just a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game to watch. It's a beautiful game. Like, even if the story isn't like perfect, like you look at it, you look at all like how the cityscape is done and how the character's done, and you're just like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's good.
Dang. Okay. Well, definitely. I mean, I want to get that as soon as I can. Although I still need to play Bastion. I have it. I'm gonna do it soon. I don't know when.
Bro, you're moving in here. I will sit you down. Like when I'm at work, like I'll be like, "Yo, here's controller. Here's Bastion. Go play.
Okay.
And Super Mario 64. You haven't beaten Super Mario 64, and like that's like seriously like highest priority, like higher than Bastion. I'm serious.
Okay. Okay. I dig that. I dig that. That's legit. Okay, so I'll do that.
I'll make you play,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
and you're gonna make me watch One Piece.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
How about this?
Uh-huh.
We'll set aside like an hour where I watch One Piece and you play Super Mario.
I dig that.
Boom.
All right, there we go.
I think with
It
that
works,
in mind,
and it works out for both of us, right?
yeah, there you go.
We both grow. I like that. Okay, cool.
I think with that in mind, I think that's a good place to close out things.
Pretty much. I'm glad. So far, I mean, this half year, or more than half now, has been pretty good, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see what the ending is gonna look like. I mean, so far, you know, there's some things that we are really excited about. I know we're really excited about Guardians of the Galaxy for one.
So hyped.
And then I'm not sure what else movie-wise is coming out later on in the year, but I imagine there's gonna be some pretty cool
Sin
things.
City. That
Oh
looks pretty
yeah,
cool.
Sin City. Yeah, I mean, you still need to see one
Yeah,
and
still
two.
need to see one, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, maybe, well, right before Sin City 2 comes out, let's watch one. How about that?
Dude, down. Fist
Yeah, let's
bump.
do it.
We just fist bumped again.
We did it like 3 times.
Don't worry about it.
Cool. So yeah, and then also I guess stick around for like a lot of our new things that are coming out. As we have told you guys in the past, we are expanding even more so with a lot of our things. Dope Folks. We have Bro Talk coming out. And you know, we're also still doing more of this, like more of the podcast. We're gonna be doing some shorts. We got a lot.
We have a lot of stuff. Did
So-
a bunch of interviews this last week,
mhm.
and we're just really stoked to get some of this really great stuff out to you guys.
Exactly. So definitely just stick around. You know, thank you all for who was all stuck around with us. Since day one. But then also for all you new people, you guys are in for a treat. And then I guess if this is the future and we've made it, boom, you heard it here first, right?
Yeah, look at how far we've come into the future. I'm hoping that in the future we somehow sound even better, and somehow there's like voice altering technology where I can just sound like Morgan Freeman, because that'd be cool.
Nah, you keep your voice. I like your voice.
Really?
Most times.
I think with that in mind, it's a good place to close. If you want to listen to more episodes of That's Dope, there's going to be an annotation right now. That was I tried to do like the ending of Cowboy Bebop, and then I was like, wait, Zelda would be more appropriate, and it accidentally sounded like the Addams Family theme. You just click the annotation; it'll take you to our last episode, which is over Super Smash Bros. And why we love that game so much.
Yeah.
With that in mind, stay dope, folks, and have a great day.
Peace.